Here I am, once again, imploring the Boston Bruins to smash those specific buttons so that they can Mortal Kombat finish the Florida Panthers here in Game 6 of their first round series to be played tonight in Florida. And we're going to talk about how the Bruins can indeed do that on today's episode of Locked On Boston Bruins.
You're Locked On Bruins, your daily podcast on the Boston Bruins. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Bruins fans, and welcome back to the Locked On Boston Bruins podcast. I'm your host, Ian McLaren, and this is a daily show where we discuss all things Spoked B. Today is Friday, April 28th, and I want to thank you so much for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. The podcast is free and available on your favorite podcast app as well as on YouTube, so please smash that subscribe button so that you never miss a thing. It is a Game 6 on tap tonight, and today I am talking about 3 ways how the Boston Bruins can finish off the Florida Panthers tonight. We all saw the clip of Matthew Tkachuk saying the Panthers will be back in Boston for Game 7. I, for one, would love not to see that. And I think there are some ways the Bruins can ensure they finish off the Panthers here tonight. Quick reminder before we get started that you can find the podcast on Instagram and Twitter at Locked NHL Bruins. You can find me, my dad jokes, hockey tweets at Ian C. McLaren. All right, let's begin with the offense. David Pastrnak looking to get back to his patented shoot-first approach. And for me, I want to see David Pastrnak come out like Joaquin Phoenix in the movie Signs, just swinging away. You get the puck, you pretend it's an alien, swing away, get some water on it, pop that Gatorade bottle, and just disintegrate Sergei Bobrovsky. And he knows that he needs to shoot the puck. He said yesterday he needs to do exactly that, shoot the puck a little bit more. He got a couple block shots, and then you look for another play to see if somebody is open. But he's going with that shooting mindset moving forward. He doesn't even lead the Bruins in shots during the playoffs after being like 150 shots ahead of Patrice Bergeron during the regular season. And he said the problem is, again, you get a couple block shots in a row from the same spot. You get a bit skittish, try to look for a better play. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not. It's up to him to recognize that and keep things simple, have a shooting mentality. Jim Montgomery said he trusts Pasternak's decision-making, especially when he has the puck, when he's offensively without it, because he can go to him a lot about what he sees in certain situations, and he can learn through him too. He really liked his habits without the puck in Game 5, and when his habits without the puck are really good, he's going to get more opportunities, which he did in Game 5. If he continues that, it's going to go in the net sooner than later. In the playoffs, everything gets magnified. You have 2 goals in 5 games. You know, that's still a pretty good pace throughout the regular season. Not his 60-goal pace that he did maintain through those 82 games. He does have more. He can show more. And perhaps he can lean a bit on Nick Foligno, who has a lot of experience practicing on Sergei Bobrovsky, played with him for 7 seasons in Columbus. He said, quote, "I know that guy very well. Obviously seen him as a great goaltender in this league, but there are some areas that you can sneak a few in on him," he said with a smile. He continued, "He's a great goalie. A lot of time with great goalies, it's not really a secret recipe. It's just pressure. It's traffic. Pucks on him at all times. You've got to try to tire him out. It's like what they're trying to do to our goaltenders, who are great. Foligno continued. Goalie coach Bob Essensa is really the guy that breaks it down. For a guy like Bobrovsky, we're just going to have to be around him and make it harder on him. I think you saw that in Game 4. That's the kind of mindset and tenacity that we had that allowed us to get some goals against him, end quote. Bruins have scored 3 or more goals in all 5 games of the first round series against the Panthers, but there's still some offense to be left on the table. And of course, you'd like to see them tighten things up defensively as well. And that's where communication will be key tonight. Limiting those turnovers, making clean transitions, talking to each other. And I think that comes down to getting back to more regular lines. I'm going to talk about that after the break. Grzelcyk, Linus, Ullmark, we're not on the same page on that play that led to Matthew Tkachuk's winner in the extra time. And again, having that communication out on the ice, taking better care of the puck. Grzelcyk said, if you're on the same page, communicate a little better, going to take care of those things and get out of their own end. The Panthers feed on mistakes that they've been making. Got to play a more simple game, and our skill will take over from there, Grzelcyk said. So those are 2 keys for the Bruins tonight. Pasta, shooting more, while other Bruins make things difficult for Sergei Bobrovsky, and better communication. And for me, that comes down to simplifying the lines as well and not trying to reinvent the wheel here. And we'll talk about after the break what the Bruins line should look like with David Krejci in the lineup, perhaps, and without him if he's not able to go for Game 6. First, a quick word about today's sponsor, eBay Motors. Now, eBay Motors is all about building the right fit for your vehicle. For a championship team, it's all about making sure every player is a perfect fit, and it's the same when it comes to your vehicle. With eBay Guaranteed Fit, you can be sure every part you need fits right the first time around, or your money back. Just like in sports, confidence is the name of the game when you shop on eBay Motors. And with over 122 million parts to choose from, you'll be back in the game in no time. Get the right parts, the right fit, and the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. Eligible items only, and exclusions apply. But you can get the right fit, the right prices on ebaymotors.com. Check it out today, and let's ride. Thank you so much again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day. Everydayers, Monday on the podcast, you will, of course, get a full recap of what happens on the weekend. Hopefully, all we'll be talking about is a Game 6 victory, looking ahead at who the Bruins might be playing in round 2. If Toronto and Tampa is wrapped up by then. If the Bruins fail to close things out tonight, I'll try to jump on the weekend to tee up a Game 7 against the Florida Panthers. But hopefully, we don't have to talk about that. Now, David Krejci did travel to Florida with the Boston Bruins and is a possibility for Game 6 here tonight. He's missed the last 3 games with an upper body injury, and Montgomery said he's got a couple more boxes to check before we can say that he will be in the lineup. For me, if he's healthy, no-brainer that he's back in the lineup. And you put him back on the second line with Pavel Zacha and David Pastrnak. That line worked throughout the regular season. Put Marchand back with Bergeron and DeBrusk, Taylor Hall, Charlie Coyle, Tyler Bertuzzi on the third line. Foligno, unfortunately, the odd man out with Frederic going back in, with Noshik and Hathaway. That would be my ideal lines for tonight. Now, if Krejci can't go, you keep that Marchand, Bergeron, DeBrusk line together. Put Bertuzzi up with Zacha and Pastrnak. Go Hall, Coyle, Frederic, and then Foligno in with Noshik and Hathaway. Lauko didn't really do enough or did anything really to stay in the lineup, in my opinion. Keep things simple. Stick with what's worked throughout the course of the regular season, and don't try to reinvent the wheel. That will help with the communication. That should help with getting off to a flying start. You're avoiding the confusion that can come up with, look, these guys are pros. They can play with anybody, but that familiarity at this point is key when there's zero margin for error. And I think that means going back to Linus Ullmark as well. Montgomery said the team will consider giving Swayman the start, but for me, you just stick with what is working. Linus Ullmark has been very good in this series, overtime in Game 5 aside. They said they're going to evaluate everything. They have complete confidence in Linus, but if they decide to go Swayman, they have complete confidence in him as well. Right now, they have great health at every position, and they have some decisions they can make in terms of bringing guys in and out. Frederic, he said, is a candidate to draw back in the lineup for Game 6, and I'd be surprised if he's not back in and hopefully more effective than he was in Games 1 through 4. On defense, I'm taking Forboard out, putting Clifton in, go with that full righty-lefty split. McAvoy, Grzelcyk, Orlov, Carlo, Lindholm, Clifton, mix and match them how you want. But that's my third key to this game tonight. Stick with what has worked. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Don't try to get too creative with the lines. Keep things simple. Get pucks on net. Make things difficult for Sergei Bobrovsky. If Foligno's not in, he certainly can still be a leader off the ice. And he said yesterday they're excited about the opportunity they've given themselves to have another crack at it, fix some of the things that weren't at their best on Wednesday night. They have a ton of confidence. They're excited, and they're looking forward to putting their best foot forward tonight. Foligno has played 67 career playoff games, 11 trips to the postseason, and he said when you have a chance, a real chance to win the Stanley Cup, it's critical to remain even keel, something that we on Twitter watching the games not great at. You can never get too high or too low in the playoffs. It's an emotional roller coaster, he said. More for families and fans than for the players because they know it's hard. It's hard to win. Teams fighting for their lives to keep their season alive. They're trying to close them out. There's a lot of emotions, and I think if you're the team that can just stay above that and be real smart and detailed in how you go about your process, those are usually the teams that move on. Of course, health is a huge factor. There's some luck involved. The Bruins know they can improve on things, and they're excited about the chance to close things out. I joked last night, Bruins fans, Leafs fans right now are united in being depressed, anxious, down about their teams being up in the series. The Bruins still have a chance to close things out, and they have been very good on the road. Better, in fact, than at home so far in the playoffs. Sometimes you can get too amped up playing in front of the home crowd. That's when your focus is lost. You make some mistakes. The Bruins are on the road. They know what they need to do. And it's easier to play a simple game on the road. Play North hockey like Jim Montgomery wants them to. And sure, there's still some Bruins fans in the stands, which helps as well. So all that together, I think will help the Bruins tonight. Keep things simple with the line assignments. Go back to what's worked. Keep rolling with Linus. If he falters early, go to Swayman, sure. Communication, keeping things simple, and Pasta and others just getting the puck on net. You saw that with Taylor Hall's game-tying goal the other night. He just grabbed it, fired it on net. Good things happen. So just keep it simple, Bruins, please. Coming up after the break, we are going to take a look around and see what's going on around the NHL. Quick thank you once again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day every single day, free and available where you get your podcasts. And thank you so much again for making Locked On Bruins part of your day. Make sure you become an everydayer, subscribe so that you don't miss a thing. I mentioned Leafs Lightning. They're 3-2 after Tampa. Won last night in Toronto, similar to what Florida did the other night in Boston. In fact, only one series is over so far, and that is the Vegas Golden Knights. Bruce Cassidy's club taking care of the Winnipeg Jets in 5 games. Seattle leads Colorado 3-2. Dallas leads Minnesota 3-2. Edmonton up 3-2 on the Kings. And then every series 3-2 at the moment in the East, including Carolina leading the Islanders and the Devils leading the Rangers, who have suddenly forgotten how to score. When you look at goaltenders, Akira Schmid has just burst onto the scene for the New Jersey Devils, a .976 save percentage so far. Igor Shesterkin playing at the same level as Linus Ullmark in the regular season, .938, and his team is losing. It's insane what can happen in the playoffs, but hopefully the Boston Bruins can make things difficult for our boy Sergei Bobrovsky tonight. Now, I did want to mention one thing in terms of the Bruins looking ahead to next season, and that is the salary cap overage that they are going to face. Because of bonuses from Patrice Bergeron and David Krejci, the Bruins will absorb a $4.5 million cap hit next season for those two guys. And that's before any talk of perhaps bringing them back, which means they might have to shed some cap space. And Daily Faceoff, their trade targets list, put 2 Bruins on the list, including Taylor Hall and Matt Grzelcyk. They wrote, Hall has been magnificent for the Bruins in the first round series against the Panthers, so it's easy to understand why this feels like a reach. But Hall's cap hit may be a luxury the Bruins can't afford. They'll have that $4.5 million salary cap overage that will be placed on next year's books. And whatever the cap ends up being next year, you can just subtract $4.5 million off the top for the Bruins. They have a lot of free agents, and they might also try to keep Tyler Bertuzzi, so the dollars get stretched thin in a hurry. Hall's been a playoff beast. His regular season production not quite up to that $6 million cap hit. He does have a 10-team no-trade list, so maybe the Bruins sell high. They also had Grzelcyk on the list as well. He's been scratched in the playoffs. His game is respected around the league, they write, and he could be a salary cap casualty. So we could see a lot of entry-level deals next year. Fabian Lysell up with the Bruins. Some of the Providence guys making the jump up so that the Bruins can get ahead of the cap. Really, it's going to be a very interesting offseason. And obviously, a lot of these decisions will be easier if the Bruins win. And you can say, all right, we did it. We achieved our goal. Now you say goodbye to some guys. Some guys might retire, and then you see what you can piece together for next year. And you take that overage and you say, it's worth it because we won the cup this season. If they don't win, could be pretty problematic pretty soon. But that road to winning continues tonight. The Bruins looking to finish things out against the Florida Panthers. Shoot the puck, swing away, Pasta. Keep the line simple. Start Ullmark and make things difficult for Sergei Bobrovsky. Those are the keys. Keep things simple. Communicate. Limit the turnovers. I'm wearing my Meth Bear shirt today. That's the kind of energy I want the Bruins to bring tonight. Tenacious. Responsible. Not that Meth Bear's responsible, but you know what I mean. And again, remember what Foligno said. We fans, family, up and down more than the players. They're even keel. I'm sure there's some nerves in there, but they know they have the job to do, and I believe they're going to get it done tonight. I'm going to say they're going to win 5-2. Book it. All right, friends, that is it for today's episode. Please do smash that subscribe button so that you do not miss a thing. And we'll be back hopefully Monday to recap Game 6, look ahead to the second round, but possibly in between if what we don't want to happen, happens tonight. Happy Friday. Hope you've all had a great week, and we will talk to you again soon here on Locked On Boston Bruins, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your favorite show, your favorite team. Well, hopefully it's your favorite show as well, every single day.